In this case, I would leave the stage to you.
Thank you,
Eliana and Alessandro.
Thank you so much for inviting us and for this introduction. I will run the first part of this session, and then Alessandro and Eliana will have a more interactive part with you. But as Caterina said before, if you have any question, you can write it in the chat or raise your hand later on and ask for specific information on that. So we are from Politecnico di Torino in Italy, and we are the group of Systemic Design together with other colleagues, of course, in Politecnico di Torino. That is our main research topic, and also the topic of the teaching that we are running here in Italy. So what we want to share with you today is how we can face the wicked problem in this area full of transformation. We know that we have this really big and wicked problem itself, like climate change, migration, the market instability, the high rate of poverty, and many other problems that are all interconnected one with the other. I would like to show you these two slides where the world, the map of the world can change in reference of some disease or some things that happens. For example, also the food exportation and importation, it changes the influence of each country in the world and in relation one with the other. So all that problems are interconnected, and this situation, it's at a global level, and it reveals a very high uncertainty in our society and world in general. So how we can, as a designer and decision maker and citizen, we can tackle these problems and try to changing and address the change in a better way, of course, and in a more sustainable way. Of course, we should move from a linear approach where we have cause and effect related in a very linear way, where from one cause you have an effect. That is not the case. We are in a complex world where everything is interconnected, and the complexity is an adaptive situation where multiple effects can happen also in the other part of the world where we are taking the decision here. So the strategic agility and the adaptive capability are the key to face this problem and find the right solution to address the change. So how we can address the future and the strategic decision making? Of course, looking at the Sustainable Development Goal, as you have done with your activities for Innovate 2030, and what we should be, it is have a flexible and open mind, so we can navigate through multiple scenarios that emerge from the changing of variables. So in that way, we can try to find a complex solution for this wicked problem and have a more sustainable future for the planet, but also for ourselves. So who is on board in this process? Of course, we should consider the quadruple helix. So, of course, each of us as citizens have strategic roles, but also as a university. In our case, we are a researcher, professor, and so on. And we have, again, important and strategic role to address the future, to look over 20 or 30 years in order to help the industry and the government to take the right decision right now for a better future. So these four elements for actors in this situation help to really make the change real. But of course, we should work together in a transparency and trust each other. Those are two important key elements to really start with a fruitful dialogue, one with the other, and to have the same goals to reach, like the Sustainable Development Goal. Those aspects help us to define and to facilitate a social learning that is broad as much as possible, because the involvement of a large society is essential, and also a capacity building, because everyone has a role, and we should work together, again, in trust and transparency. So go very fast to understand why we use this methodology, the systemic design, to find the right solutions for a better future. The systemic design methodology merge, let me say, two main approaches and theories. The first one is the complexity theories, because we, in literature, we have already a lot of theories that manage and help us to manage the complexity. But we put together to these theories also all the approaches and tools that design can provide us, because the design has the capacity to plan and to define a new object, service, system, and also future. So if we put together the theories for the management of the complexity and the tools that the design can provide us, we obtain the systemic design methodology. That is based on 5 main principles. The first one is that the output in all the anthropic activities should not exist anymore. All the industrial processes and human activities should work as the nature is working. So transforming all the output in input for other activities, other processes, and so on. This output-input process make the relations among different actors, stakeholders in a specific territory. So we have this second guideline, that is the relationship among the system, that is crucial to understand also the influences that we can have one to the other. In that way, and we are talking about the third guideline, is the autopoietic characteristic of the system built in that way, because it is the system is able to self-support and evolve, co-evolve naturally when the situation of the context can change. The fourth one is to act locally. every project done with the systemic design approach is done for a specific territory. It will change if we move in another territory. And the last but not for importance is the man at the center of the project. It means that, of course, we are looking at the planet. That is our main goal, to take care of it. And also to the people that live in the planet. And that guideline underlined the fact that we should take care of all the people. Also, let me say, the hidden actors, because in a linear process, often you don't look at all the actors. You have the gold ones, and the other maybe are not seen. So with the systemic design, we want to put provide the right importance to all the actors involved in that processes. So the systemic design is based on six steps, and we start with an holistic diagnosis that is the qualitative and quantitative analysis of the state of the art. So we are mapping the context, the specific context where we are working on. That is the first step that allow us also not only to map the context, but also to understand with the stakeholder involved what are the main challenges and opportunities that territory can face. And let me say, the challenges that we are identifying with that step are our leverage point to work on, and that allow us to build a new project. That is our third step. So the systemic design project itself. So with that step, we create the complex solution. We define the relation between all the processes and actors involved in our study. The first step is the study of the outcomes. So when we define the systemic design project for a specific context, the fourth step is, okay, how we can affect the territory. How are the quantitative and qualitative outcomes that can be beneficial for the territory? And we should detect also the different scales and the different time frames that we have. Then, when we have a clear idea of the outcomes on the single context and on the territory where we are acting, we have the last two steps that are the implementation itself. So we can start building the project into reality, and it will take time, because the complexity takes time to build the system itself. And the last step is to understand and also try to collect all the results and the feedback from it. So it is crucial to from the beginning understand what are the results that we want to monitor, and understand if the systemic design is solving the problems that we detect at stage 2. And with the feedback, we can also come back at stage 3 and readdress our solution and the systemic design. So that is the base of systemic design, and at Politecnico di Torino we are teaching that course in our systemic design lab, Master of Science in Systemic Design Aurelio Peccei. That is a 2 years of master degree. Specifically, one semester is the Systemic Design Lab, where we work together, we put together 4 different courses. One is the Systemic Design, that is the coordinator of the lab itself, and where we are facing real case study to apply the theory that I mentioned before. We have the contribution of the economy with economy management of project course. We have the humanity contribution with the course of theory and history of open system, and the contribution of the engineering part with the procedure for environmental sustainability. With all these courses, we are working all together with again an open model of teaching that is bossless as much as possible. Of course, at the end, we should rate and evaluate the students, but we try to have this teamwork. Of course, among all the students, we work with groups of 5-6 students each group, and we work with them as an expert. Of course, they should learn how to work with the systemic design methodology, but we try to serve them. With an experiential learning, because we work always with specific case studies, real industry, real companies to work with. So with that, the students have the opportunity already to understand how that approach can be beneficial for the company. And it helps also to have a potential success of their project that will not close after 6 months of the course, but maybe the company are happy to continue the project of the students with them and going deep with the project at the implementation level, of course, because during the semester we can do until step 4, but for the step 5 and 6, so the implementation and the feedback loop, we should require more time. So often the involvement of the companies has helped us to go further with the other steps. So we work with the company that usually have this linear approach with a production with the take, make, and dispose model. And we work with this industrial evolution where we use the output as an input and generate this network of different companies that work together, trying to reach the zero emissions. So just to show you one example of the work that the students have done this year is with a company called Duels in Italy here in Italy, in Piedmont region. That is the first step, the holistic diagnosis. The map that they have done of the territory, the state of the art. Then the second step is the evaluation of the challenges and opportunity, and that is a map that underline what are the main criticalities that they should face and where their final system will find a solution for that problems. Then with the challenges on the top that they detect from their point of view, but also with the dialogue with the company, they define all the opportunities that can have solutions to those challenges. As you can see from that map, one opportunities can solve more than one challenges, as you can see from the network of the arrows. From all those opportunities, they do a multi-criteria analysis in order to select the best one for the territory and for the company that they have. So the multi-criteria analysis help them to select the best opportunity for their specific project, and in that way they reach the third step, that is the systemic design map. That is the example of their new system that define with the company, and with that step they show what are the new synergies with the other companies that they can find in the territory, the new products that they can produce with the waste and to sell to the company, and understand so the outcomes directly for the company, but also the outcomes for the territory. That is the final project that they have done with the waste that they collect from the company and from the territory. It is a toy for the child that have neuro problems in the brain, and inside there is the seeds of the cherries. That is a waste from another company in the territory, and they use the collect and use the textile waste from the Dual Sign Italy company, and obtain this toy, Teresa. That is the name of the object that they provide. So that is an example of what we are doing with the students. But we have also all the activities related to the research activities with our team, the Systemic Design team in Politecnico di Torino. We are running different projects, especially at European level. RETRACE was an Interreg project that ran from 2016 2020, and then this year they funded again one more year for implementing it after and understanding the implication of the COVID had on our project and policy that we define. The RETRACE project aimed to promoting the systemic design methodology as a method to help the regions in Europe to move toward a circular economy and define the regional action plan for their reasons. We have an intense exchange of good practices all around Europe, especially involving the 5 regions involved in the project. And as the coordinator of this project, Politecnico di Torino provide the methodology that all the regions use to define the regional action plan. We are the coordinator, and with us in Piedmont, we have Piedmont region, because they are the managing authority that can deliver the regional action plan. Then we have the Nouvelle Aquitaine in France with Estia and Apesa. In the Basque Country in Spain, we have Azaro Foundation and Vizcaya. Then in Romania, the Northeast Agency for the Development of this region. And then we involved all the Slovenia, the Ministry for the Development and European Cohesion Policy, because they are the managing authority of the Slovenia itself. You can check on our official website, that is www.interregeurope.eu/retrace, where we have delivered for free 3 main publications. The first one is related to the method guide to have a new way to define the policy for Europe in a more circular way, and you can find there all the holistic diagnosis that we have done for the 5 regions involved in the project. The second publication is about the good practices that we, luckily, in the first phase of the project, we have the opportunity to travel all around Europe and visit the different case studies, the different good practices all around Europe, with this exchange of good practices. One example is the one of Lavazza, that reuse the coffee waste here in Italy. But if you check on the official website, you have also the YouTube link where there are all the video related to each good practices and field visit that we have done. The third one, the third publication is related to the policy regional action plan that we have delivered with the project. So the 5 roadmaps for the 5 regions. For example, in Italy, in Piedmont regions, we have defined from the other actions also an action related to the bioeconomy platform that frame within the green chemistry and agri-food sectors. And try to develop the research and development project, especially from SMEs, and try to finance innovate solution and collaborative association among different companies. So the results of this bioeconomy platform was to obtain 11 project connected to the circular economy in all the Piedmont regions, and the Piedmont region funded 8 of those projects that involved at the end 138 entities in the territory, especially 100 companies in Piedmont region and 38 research organizations. And the topic covered are very broad, from biofuels, from fertilizer, biomaterial, nutraceutical, and new agricultural bioproducts. So very, to summarize, the main results of RETRACE were 7 field visits with more than 30 good practices exchange among the partners involved in the project, and share of all the community with our YouTube videos. 5 holistic diagnoses on the 5 regions and 5 regional action plan, 3 publications, 2 inter-regional dissemination events, and 10 regional dissemination events. All of these before the 2020, of course, before the COVID. Another project that I want to show you very, very briefly is the DigiCirc project that is still running. It is an InnoSoup project, a call related to the Horizon 2020 program, and it aims to enhance all the SMEs in order to reach a more high digitalization, to reach a more sustainable action in order to transit in a circular economy. So we are going to accelerate SMEs for a circular economy project, we are running the massive open online courses to help the companies to accelerate their idea. And we create many digital platforms to help them in that process. Those are the partners involved, so you can see how broad it is. And the coordinator in that case is CAP Digital. With that project, we try to help the companies and public bodies and researchers to work together in order to facilitate the circular economies activities, especially for these medium and small and medium enterprises. What we are building is some platforms that help the SMEs to find a more sustainable solution. Is an industrial symbiosis platform, the match-making platform, a geolocalization of material, and an info portal. You can find all of them in our official website, that in that case is www.digicirc.eu. The three main domain and strategic domains that we are working on is the circular cities, that it is almost at the end, because in September we will have the demo day with the presentation of all the ideas and projects defined by a cluster of SMEs. Then in autumn we will start with the bioeconomy domains, and the last one will be the blue economy domain. One of the case study of this project is bio-waste, if you want, that is in the Netherlands, and it is a platform that connects citizens to other citizens, recycle and the large store chains in order to reuse the non-traditional household waste, such as electronics, books, toys, and so on. They are implementing their idea and doing some specific case pilot in the Netherlands right now. The data are related to 40,000 tons of household electronics, thanks for the hearts, for the Netherlands, of course, and by waste, that are incinerating annually. Also the clothing that is underutilized, and 70% goes in the trash, and 35% of non-traditional waste are recycling. So that is the main problem that they try to work on, and try to simplify the recycling on it. So collecting in a box these unwanted items, so also without separating them, and then they can schedule a pickup, so the by-waste can collect it and then address it for a different use and valorize it. We want to close this part with the Systemie Design Association, that is a international association that I'm the chair of it, that is founded in the 23rd of October in Torino, 2018, but it is registered as association in Norway because it is international. I'm the chair, and there are over 5 members of it that are spread all over the world. And the main activities of the Systemie Design Association is to facilitate and to spread the knowledge and of the systemic design, and what can be the main exchange of good practices, because are not only academics, but we have also practitioners in the association, and we want to exchange our experiences all around the world in order to get value from our experience and reach a higher and higher awareness of it. Our main activities is to meet every year all together during the Relating System Thinking and Design Symposium. And today, and this year, we are celebrating our 10th birthday with the RSD10 that will be hosted again in the Netherlands at the Delft University of Technology. So you are more than welcome to come from the 3rd to the 6th of November to RSD10 Symposium. It will be in hybrid version, of course, because we don't know how it will be the situation in November, but we are positive, not positive, let me say, we have good vibes and have also some person in presence there. So now I want to thank you so much for your attention to this part,